Chapter 9. How do plants get rid of waste? Plants eat, drink, and breathe, just like you, but they have their own ways of doing it. And, like you, they produce waste. Plants do not take in solid food, only gases, water, and nutrients. As a result, their waste products are only gases, water in the form of water vapor, and waste chemicals. As plants produce waste, cells store that waste in central vacuoles. As water moves in and out of plants, it mixes with chemical waste. Plant cells get rid of water vapor and chemical waste through their pores. So we have this diagram here. A central vacuole is the plant cell's waste basket. All the waste goes in there. Osmosis. Plants rely on a process called osmosis to move water into a root from the soil. Osmosis is the flow of liquids or gases through membranes. It allows water to move into and out of plant cells. Transpiration. Then, water must move up into the leaves. The process of moving water from roots to pass through the leaves is transpiration. Think of a plant stem like a straw. The water starts in the soil. Cells that have the least water suck up water through the roots. Water moves from cells that have more water to the plant stem and into cells in leaves. The water in leaf cells is used for photosynthesis, which means that leaf cells always have a need for more water. Water, water everywhere. Leaves relieve massive amounts of water vapor. An acre of corn, for example, releases from 11,400 to 15,100 liters of water vapor a day. A large oak tree transpires more than 150,000 liters of water each year. Water enters the plants through its roots. It is expelled from leaves as water vapor. Getting rid of waste. In addition to transpiration, plants have other ways to get rid of waste. Some plants actively pass waste chemicals back into the soil. When plants compete for space, they can drop toxins into the soil to kill off pushy neighbors. Another way to get rid of waste is to get rid of the plant parts that store waste. Flowers that grow from bulbs, such as tulips and irises, shed their stalks. The stalks die, getting rid of plant waste and leaving the bulb underground to produce a new flower the next year. When autumn leaves fall, they take cell waste products with them. Resin is the one way that a tropical tree can rid itself of chemical waste. Losing leaves and other waste. In the autumn, leaves on deciduous trees that shed their leaves, change color and fall off. Trees have absorbed metals, such as lead and cadmium, through their roots. These metals are called heavy metals and are toxic to plants and humans. Plant cells move the metals into vacuoles in the cells of their leaves. The metals, in part, determine the colors of fall leaves. Tropical trees do not drop their leaves in autumn. They get rid of the chemical waste in gums, resins, and saps. Sometimes trees do not get rid of their waste. They store it in cells in the center of the trunk. The waste chemicals cause the wood in the trunk to darken in color. The wood is called ebony, or a hard black wood called heartwood. Ebony and heartwood stop using water and minerals. They serve as storage for some waste and prevent them from spreading to the rest of the plant. How do scientists work with plant cells? Ancient Egyptian farmers grew different types of wheat to increase the number of crops. Ancient people in Peru developed more than 3,000 varieties of potato. These cultures used biotechnology to find better ways to grow crops. Biotechnology uses living things as tools. Here's an example of biotechnology at work. Scientists identify a type of wheat that produces more grain than usual, but that wheat species gets disease easily. Scientists also identify wheat that resists disease but does not make much grain. They work with the two strains of wheat to produce a new wheat that resists disease and yields plenty of grain. Plant scientists also use crossbreeding to develop new plant species. Crossbreeding mixes characteristics from two varieties of the same species. Crossbreeding lets a scientist mix white roses and red roses to grow pink roses, for example. It helped develop a bigger potato that is perfect for baking and ears of corn with nice, straight rows of kernels. Scientist Spotlight. Norman Borlaug. In the 1960s, U.S. food scientist Norman Borlaug developed short-stalked, high-yield wheat that grows with very little water. For this new wheat, Borlaug won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970. Since then, Borlaug's wheat has saved more than 225 million people from starvation. Biotechnology. In this research center in India developed cotton plants that grew more cotton. Think about grapes. People like the fruit, but not the seeds. Scientists took grapes with very few seeds and crossed them with other grapes with few seeds. Eventually, new grape species produced seedless grapes.